Welcome. Howdy. Welcome. It's Wednesday night. This is the three of us are hungover and tired edition of Strang Theory. I've been recording non-stop about 120 tracks in the last 6 days. Chris has been doing nothing, and Ginger's
equally been doing nothing.
Sort of the similar thing.
Hey, I built a whole garden.
Okay, she built a garden, but then at some point there was a lot of sake consumed.
Might have been a little sake party.
Yeah,
spontaneous.
It was a bit of a spontaneous sake party,
yeah,
which I didn't take part in because I was busy up here making records. Well, according to Ginger, I was, but maybe she didn't tell you because you're not special enough to know what she's doing.
Maybe she was lying to you.
Okay.
Never.
Our sponsors.
Getting off to a rocking start, isn't it?
Boucher, Levy's, G&G Music, The Guitar House, our buddies in Mississauga, Ontario.
Yes, sir.
Brick House, my brother Roger Schmidt. The Acoustic Shoppy in Springfield, Missouri. I was on their channel today live.
Yeah.
They called me on the phone.
They did a phoner with you.
Cool. Parkway Music down in Albany deals my buddy George Cracker's guitars. K&K, Gallagher, Alfred's, Jerry St. Louis Music, Yamaha, Close Guitars, Cody Guitars, D'Addario, Apollo Picks, Epiphone Gibbs, Blue Chip Picks, Tones Lab, LR Bags, Hosen Guitars, also Avenir, the new Bear JP model Avenir. My brother George Crackett, Emerald Guitars, got a new one sitting here we're going to show you shortly. Nova Scotia SPCA, Charm Life Picks, Picker's Grip, Canary Guitars, Edmondson, Shenmo, Flamang, Cirrus. Big news from Cirrus today. Rickard Banjos, Deering Banjos, Bedell, another big announcement there today. Breedlove, Bromo, Dreamwood, and George Loudon doesn't even know he's on the list, but there he is.
Well, I'll just add a sponsor who doesn't even
Never
know.
talked to the man in my life,
No.
but I love his goddamn guitar, so what are you going to do? So there we go, boys. There's the intro, except we could possibly say one last thing. Welcome
to
String Theory. Here's John and Chris and Ginger. So we're going to have Capo Corner right away.
Did you want to do that right away?
Oh yeah.
All right. Welcome to Capo Corner.
Crapo
Corner.
Crapo Corner. So I'm only doing this because, well, I'll tell you why after. But this comment appeared on the channel debut of Cirrus Guitars. Right? Okay. So this guy, his name is Old Metal Dude, 3480. Old Metal Dude. And he says he watches the review, of course, and because I raved about Cirrus, and I'm going to rave some more in a minute after, and I'll tell you why. Old Metal Dude says, this guy's a joke. He bashes on Martin for being too expensive, and does the review of a CNC-made guitar that's made in the U.S. and says it's the greatest thing. Remember, Martin is also made in the U.S. except for their Mexico line. This guy's a shill for whatever company will pay him to review their guitars. No doubt he's an excellent player, but has no integrity when it comes to reviews, in my opinion.
Oh, isn't he delightful?
I remember this guy saying on one of his live shows that the 15 Series Martin was total crap. Which it is not. Those are budget guitars ranging from $1,200 to $2,000. Much cheaper than this guitar, which sound great. Don't buy this guy's bullshit. He literally said handmade a couple of times, but then in the beginning of the video said they have CNC machines, which what a joke. No doubt the guitar does sound good. Right? I'm not saying that it doesn't. It's a great sounding guitar, but to make the claim that it's this amazing American-made guitar that nobody else is making one for that price point is ridiculous. When Martin and other companies are making USA guitars for even cheaper that sound great.
You're nothing but a shill.
I'm nothing but a shill.
You're sweating like a ham.
Sweating like a ham. So I went and looked at Old Metal Dude's channel.
Yeah.
And I perused through his 63 subscribers.
Okay.
And I
Gotta start somewhere.
I watched a couple of his. It's hard to get subscribers.
It's hard to get them.
And I watched a couple of his videos, and I watched basically a video from a few years ago where he was saying he was going to, get to work and start creating more content. And the guy seemed like a really genuinely nice man.
Mm-hmm.
So to old metal dude, I'll say this. You're not the first guy to say these things about me. And if you knew me and you knew some of the people that follow this channel, you'd never say these things. And I'm telling you just from watching you that I bet me and you would be buddies. I'm not even kidding. The way that I watched you talk and you were honest and open, exactly the kind of thing that people want to see on YouTube. So, number one, I'm kicking your ass right now to start making more content because you are an old metal dude. I'm an old bluegrass dude. We're just probably the same age or close to it. And you need to make more content because I liked what I saw. There just wasn't enough of it. Secondly, and this is the big thing, what started to bother me about comments like this one is that you're not just shitting on me, you're shitting on the builders I talk about. Because by calling me a shill, you're saying that Cirrus is unable to sell guitars without the use of a shill. That's not true.
No.
They're selling guitars hand over fist. Why? Because they're awesome. They're awesome guitars. And they are entirely made in America. The Martins that you've cited aren't made in America. They're made in Mexico and China. Mm-hmm. Anything below the D18 isn't truly made entirely in America. It's just not. And that's why they cost $1,200 and $2,000. And I still say they're not worth it. Your money's better spent on a Cirrus.
Yeah.
That's completely made in America, made by a world-renowned single bench builder. MJ Franks is nobody's fool. This guy has built $25,000 guitars, custom-made guitars for some of the biggest names in the music industry. And he's like the Irvin Samoji of the bluegrass world.
Right.
That's the kind of instruments he builds, right? So I don't mind you saying anything about me, but don't talk about my friends. Those people work hard. Gallagher works hard. Boucher works hard. Yamaha. All these guys that build these guitars I talk about, you have no clue until you try to. If you ever tried to do it, I would never try to do it myself. I'd be terrified to get in to something that's that volatile, right? And it's just crazy to get into that business. But these guys go in all heart, all right in, right up to their necks, right, and take the chance so they can build guitars like this one that just arrived here today.
Hey, look.
Yeah, this is another Cirrus, my friend, old metal dude. And I'm going to tell you what, this is one of the best dreadnoughts I've had in my hands. And it's the prettiest sunburst I've ever seen. MJ put maple leaf in the 12th fret for me. And it's a rosewood, satin finish back and sides, gloss top, semi-glass mahogany neck. And this thing is absolutely ridiculous.
lot to say, don't it?
Man, I had to put my head away from it on those high A's.
Yeah.
Like they're just as thick as a log.
And that's green right off the bench.
Right off the bench. Right off the bench. It has a proprietary pickup system in it that's similar to a K&K, but made by a Michigan native.
Also, made in America.
Made in America. The pickup,
Someone else entering the ring.
The pickup, and we're going to test these and hopefully be able to endorse this company that works with MJ. But this guitar is half the price of a D28 herringbone. I guarantee it is, or maybe 3/4 of the price. I'm not even sure, but because I'll tell you what, and I have no problem saying this, and I've always been very open about my relationship with builders. MJ built this guitar for me and gave it to me as a gift for all the guitars I've helped him sell, which was the point of featuring him. Not for me, I don't get anything from it. I make him stronger.
Yep.
My channel gets stronger. The people that follow me grow. Right? There's a lot more in this business than just taking dollars and bills and change from somebody's hand, which does nothing to grow the world. Right?
All that activity only inspires the small bench builders.
Yeah, exactly.
To do something new, do something different.
I'm telling you, I love this guitar. I was going outside, and you were passing by me, and I reached and grabbed it.
Yeah, for what?
And you were like, "Why are you taking it outside?" I said, "I don't know. I just grabbed it. It's like it was mine the minute I opened the case." I called her the Aztec because when I opened the case, the sun was shining on the top, and holy crap! It just about blinded me. Just this golden, brilliant, like haze coming up out of the cave. It's like something out of a That's what it was like. I called MJ. I said, "Man, it's like something out of an Indiana Jones movie, right?"
That's awesome.
Like,
I can't wait to hear it plugged in and hear this.
Yeah, we're gonna probably freak out.
Yeah,
because if MJ Frank says this is the best thing he's ever heard, it's gonna be good. So there you go, old metal dude. I love you. I'm not mad at you at all for saying these things, but I want you to know that I'm more concerned with the fact that you kind of cast any shadow on MJ. Because obviously, this man can build guitars just grossly well. It's incredibly...
Grossly
It's just gross how good he is. Like, it is. And he's working. The other great thing about MJ...
He's a pilot.
Is he a pilot also, but
yeah,
another
so that's
great
got Ginger
thing.
and I a little pissed as well.
And the Aztec is a plane I hear now too, right?
So the name all fits in, right?
So here's the other thing I want to say. MJ, as well as Gallagher, Boucher, Close, many of these companies that have employees that are building 400 and 500 guitars a year, like Boucher, right? Which they're up to 6 something now.
Yeah.
They employ 10 to 15 young guys in their 20s who are learning how to do this.
Yeah.
So that's important too. For me to help MJ, in my opinion, the way that I've lived my life, and I think it's because I'm a performer and a recording artist, and we sort of have there's always goodwill.
Big
We're looking
ego?
for goodwill. No.
Oh.
No ego.
Sorry.
We're always looking for goodwill. Right? Not like him. He's just a prick. But you're looking for goodwill. And because goodwill builds stuff that you don't even see getting built. And you walk into it and go, "Man, how did this happen to me?" It's because you did something for somebody 6 months ago.
You paid it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every company I deal with, right? If it's these guys with his young crew, Gallagher young crew, Boucher young crew, or the elders who are at Yeri and Hamamatsu, and these other companies they've been building for 90 years, you're either helping the young come ahead, or you're honoring the elders who are doing things that nobody else can do, right? So that's my message for you, old metal dude. I would love to buy you a beer someday. And do yourself a favor.
Or a rum and coke.
Or a rum and a coke.
That's his speed.
Whatever you want. Do yourself a favor and give MJ Franks a call. And I shit you not. Find his number. It's in his website. Call Cirrus Guitars and talk to MJ Franks. And he'll tell you. He'll tell you how much our friendship has meant to both sides. I have this beautiful guitar. I have the first OM. He loaned it to me to review and let me keep it because I was helping him.
Yeah.
And that's how this works, right? Someday, if I need to cull the herd, I may sell one Cirrus and keep the one I love the best, which might be this one.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's all water under the bridge. That's the way it works. I can't keep every goddamn guitar. I have 100 of them in here.
You're trying.
Right? So right now it's just out of control. It's out of control how many guitars are in here. But I love it, and I love working with these companies, and so just chill out.
One thing I'll say,
love you.
Being lucky enough to be exposed to all these small bench builders,
yeah,
and also regularly going in MI stores and looking at all the guitars that are regularly in those MI stores of the typical brands that you see. People who don't stop and look at these instruments don't realize the difference in them over the line built instruments and the larger manufacturers. You can see so much more quality and care put into that guitar. We've barely had it a couple hours.
It just smokes.
It smokes, and you can just see the little things that there are no holidays on this. There's no little gutches or like you go into a store and you see that on the bigger brands all the time. You not intentionally, but there's not the care that's put into them.
No. And here's the thing. I think this needs to be said. We need to stop shitting on CNC machines. Because everybody uses them. And here's the deal, though. This is the thing about CNC. If the master builder doesn't know what he's doing, right? Or if there's no master builder in charge of that department, you're just getting a guy to shove wood in there with a mathematical equation to cut it a certain way. Don't take care of what part of the grain is being cut away. These things are important. And if you're sitting in a huge factory setting like Martin, Gibbs, and Yamaha, like all these huge companies that use CNC, it's all about pushing out. Like, what did we say? A guitar every 32 minutes?
Literally, and having 3 minutes to do a full
3 minutes
setup.
to do a QC and a setup. Yeah. So that's the difference between a huge company like Martin sending a CNC machine with its programming to a plant in Mexico where the guys don't give a shit. They just want the job. They throw the wood in there, and of course it's built to Martin specifications, but the wood isn't chosen by the master. The grain stuff is not done by the master. It's not tuned, tap tuned, any of those things, right? When a guy like MJ Franks uses a CNC machine, and Dave Mathis and Boucher is starting to use for certain things, man, they're right in the room going, okay, we have to cut. This is the way this must be cut. At this precise place in the sheet of wood has to be cut out. Their design is modified by building it by hand at first to see what it has to be done, has to be cut as. Then they cut it with a CNC machine. Right? They don't do it just willy-nilly.
No, and they're not. They're using CNC machines to do
speed.
repetitive tasks. And to up the quality of their instrument as their instruments are becoming more popular.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you get the uniformity and the repeatability for repetitive tasks. But they're not using CNC machines doing the bracing.
No.
Doing the tap tuning the tops or shaving the tops.
No.
Or
And
any
it-
of
and it
those
shows. It shows.
any kind of those tasks.
It shows.
Yeah.
And MJ told me when he first met me, we got two CNC machines running side by side.
Yeah.
He said, but I'm designing everything.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, I went, well, these guitars are going to be unreal because I've seen your single bench guitars. And indeed, there's the proof
Yeah.
that he may have used CNC for a vast majority of the construction of this guitar, but it's an MJ Franks guitar. And I know for certain fact, he told me one time, he said, I started Cirrus so I could build a cheaper guitar for people at a high level of quality, and plus, I want to teach these young men how to build. Right?
Yep.
How noble is that? Right? And all these guys are like that. Robin's training these people to take over the company because he's not going to live forever.
No.
He's 68 or 69 years old. David Mathis is the same way. He's not a young man, but he's not an old man yet. But he's going to train these guys to continue building Gallaghers, no matter what happens, right? And that, man, you just can't get around that. And that's what I do on the channel, is make sure that everybody knows what these guys are doing. It's that simple. I get their instruments, I show them, and it creates, thousands and thousands of views, and people see it and go, man, I want one of those. And then everybody's family grows out exponentially, right?
And there are instruments and products that don't get a review.
No.
And
why?
And that's done quietly. And
yes.
Yeah.
And these people often offer me money. And I still say no.
Right.
Because I will not review something, number one, that I wouldn't use on stage. And number two, that I would have to say something negative about. Because that's not helpful either.
No.
If a company comes and says, will you review this thing? And I'm like, okay, well, can you give me more information about what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And if I can, see video or something of what they're doing, I know right away. I'm like, okay, now I would never use this product, right? And I call them back and I tell them so. I said, I can't do this. I can't do it. Well, we would pay you for like so many. No, I just can't, because I'd be lying. Be lying to people saying, yeah, I play this on stage, or I play it in the studio, or I think this is a good product.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, it may one day be a good product. That's why you don't shit on people. Because they may develop into something incredible. But if I was, and I'm just a small guy, I got 40,000 subscribers.
Pardon?
Yeah. A small channel.
Check.
What's his new name, Chris?
Edmund, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So where was I going with that?
Straight down.
I'm only a small channel, right? But if I say something negative about somebody, it hurts them. I know it does.
Yeah.
And it's happened in the past, and I felt really bad, but I couldn't take it back because I was being honest.
Yeah.
So there you go, boys. In short, love you. So the other part of Capo Corner that's really exciting is that I was on the Chapman's channel this afternoon. The guys at the Acoustic Shop in Missouri, they're some of the best guys I have ever met. I wish they would come up here and visit us. We would laugh so hard that it would be, It
sounded like they were having a party on there.
Their channel's incredible.
Yeah.
They just get in this big giant room and film, 6 cameras and play music and talk. And so I was on I think it was what is today? When not Takeover Tuesday. Anyhow, it was one of their normal regular shows. So here's a good example. John Chapman, the guitar player, brilliant guitar player. So they have such a huge relationship with Eastman that they're able to call Eastman up and go, we want this guitar, build this for us.
To these specifications.
Yeah, and Eastman has never done it. And they go, okay. And they just do it. And they build 50 of them and send them over. Because they're the number one Eastman dealer in the world. So now they got me involved with Eastman and Bedell. Now Bedell is now building a J.P. Cormier artist page because of the parlor I reviewed just there. So John calls me today. He says, we've developed a guitar with Bedell. And John says, I think it might be the best dreadnought I've ever played in my life, and I want to send you one. We want you to review this.
Nice.
So I'm like, bring it on, because I talked to them earlier this year, and at length, and they were very nice people. And so they wanted to send some Breedloves, but they were intent on building me another guitar, I think a Dreadnought, this year. So this may be the one. They want to do another guitar. If this is the one that they developed for John,
it'll be a monster.
It'll be a monster, right? So, yeah, it's been an exciting few days. I was recording for the last 6 days of just an immensely talented young lady from Ontario named Jo Bronson. It's one of the most incredible singer-songwriters I ever saw. It just floored me. And we worked in here for, I don't know how many tracks we laid down. In one day, I thought we figured out about 120 tracks of music I laid down on 7 cuts, right? Like, incredible. She just inspired me, but now I'm exhausted because it was a long few days. And we finished mastering and mixing this morning.
You've had a lot of people through the studio in the last 2 to 3 weeks.
It's been great. And her session especially was really rewarding because that's ultimately why I started the public recording studio in the first place. I shut it down because of time constraint, right? But this year I thought, since I'm not going to go to the States anymore for a while, maybe I'll record people. People need records, right? And sure enough, like 6 or 8, 10 people all said, yeah. So I've been recording for a month now or so, Ginger, something like that?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, so there's some great records in here. Mark Smith, Our Father's Fools, David Muse, Yogi Muse's son, killer songwriter. Ashley O'Coin, up here, voice of God.
Ray.
Am I missing somebody? Oh, that's Our Father's Fools.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah, that's Ray, yeah. So yeah, it's been a great month, and I'm getting a little tired. I got a day's rest tomorrow. Then the Fools are back Friday and Sunday to work on their record, and it's been fun. Meeting a lot of great players. I'll tell you that. So yeah, it was a long Capo Corner, but there was a lot to talk about. So
it was only a half an hour.
So how
it's
the
only
hell
27 minutes.
Oh,
Besides being sockified,
steaming along. Yeah, like a steaming pile of
Something or other.
something or other.
I can't stop playing this guitar. I just can't.
Steven still likes the other one better.
Jesus, look at a plane taking off.
Is it a plane or are you flying?
What's a nice one? It's so unreal. It's like a friggin' I don't know what. Man, I can't wait for Robin to play this guitar.
Yeah, Robin will like that.
Man. Yeah, he's going to love that guitar. Robin is such a fan of other builders, right? And just all my buddies are. George Crackett and Robin are like bromance. They build each other guitars. Like they did. It's crazy. They love each other guitars, man. Yeah. And Mathis the same way. He met Robin, just was floored, right? Like they just. And it was David Fleming and Robin met at Chicago last summer. I thought I was going to pry them out of the room. They just wouldn't stop talking about guitars, and Robin played all of his guitars, and Jesus, it was something else. It's incredible. Need to give a good shout out to David Fleming, Green, Iowa. This guy builds about 12, 15 guitars a year, and they're some of the most incredible instruments I've ever seen. He's completely alone. his output is insane. That many guitars for one guy per year, 15. And just him and his wife. And if you want to see some killer guitars, go find Flamang, Flamang. Green, Iowa is where he lives. And yet another one single bench guy that's just killing it. And we're waiting now also for I'm waiting for Steve Sheriff to come along. He owns Edwinson.
Mm-hmm.
He's down in Fairhope, Alabama, and he's building me a dreadnought. I guess it's his first dreadnought he's ever built that he wants me to endorse, and I certainly will, because I played his other guitars. He builds fingerstyle instruments that are just unbelievable. And one of those guys is like, I didn't know if I could really build guitars good enough to do the stuff, the thing, and now he's when we met and talked with some of the other guys at the Bower Sox International in Texas I was at last year, it just lifted him right up. And another guy, we got to also talk about Virgil Lawson and Dreamwood, because that video just slayed.
Mm-hmm.
That had 8,000 views, and like that, everybody loved that guitar, and well, they should, right? So, a lot of love for all our guitar partners tonight. We love you. I'm very, very thankful. I was in here recording. I was talking to Joe. Joe says, "Well, how the hell do you choose what you're going to play?" And I said, "Well, they each have their own personality,
mm-hmm.
and I try to find the one that matches you, right? Whoever's sitting in that chair, that's the guitar I try to find in the room. And thank God I have more than enough to fit just about anything."
And they do, like, we make a joke about how you collect guitars, but
it's becoming a problem.
What an ideal situation to have in your own studio, in a community where people want to record, and right? And they can come in, and there's all this variety of killer instruments.
I gave Joe my Shenmue 000.
You did?
Yeah. Because I have the new one, and that one, she plays a 000
mm-hmm.
Takamine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really bad, but we used it on the whole record. She's a good guitar player.
Yeah.
And she played it, and I kept it because it sounded old and buckety, and the way old tack sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had played the 000 Shenmue on the whole album, and when I was done, it had no pickup in it or nothing. I never intended to take it on the road. This other one I will, because they're and the blue one is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
So
long as
when
you don't give
she
away your
left,
blue one.
I said, "I want you to have this," and she just started to cry. It was like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Yeah, that's the guitar that I was using all week."
Mm-hmm.
And she was just, then she looked at me and she said, "This is why my father's going to shit in his pants." Not because of the record. Her father's a singer-songwriter too, right? So, yeah, so
that'll
then
be a great guitar for her.
I know, and it'll get that name out there into Ontario, which is where their newest dealer is. They have a dealer in Oakville, I think I said it was, right? So, yeah. So, Joe Bronson is the proud owner of my 000 Shenmue.
Nice.
Rosewood, I think it's Engelman top, maybe Adirondack, God knows. They use some of the best material they can find. So, yeah.
Do you think we should entertain a Christian?
We ought to do, yeah.
34 minutes in, you think?
Yeah, sorry. But there was just a lot
good.
to talk about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not that many questions, so it actually works out.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's no questions because people are interested in hearing this stuff. Don't really get a chance. There's not that much going on normally. So, there we go. First Christian goes to
Adam K.
Hey, Adam. Happy Wednesday.
Mr. K.
I have an MD 315 Eastman. The tuners are known for being cheap. Could I, as a handyman and wannabe construction guy, change a tuner myself?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's easy. It's a couple of screws and a nut.
Yeah. Don't over tighten it when you put it in.
Yep.
Don't have to crush the headstock.
All you got to make sure is that you have the right size spindle.
Yeah.
Most of the holes in a headstock, they're standard.
Yeah.
And that's all you got to do. Just make sure make sure you ask where you buy the machine heads.
Mm-hmm.
If your replacement machine head is the same spindle width as the ones that are on the guitar. If they're Grovers or whatever they are, ask if they're the same. And if they are, you can put them. I mean, I just put a set of machine heads in the Ivory Girl, and those were complicated. Those are those Rickard.
Yeah.
But they went right on. Had them on in 10 minutes with no tools. All I had was a little tiny wrench, and that was it. So you don't need a lot of. Even if there's the tiny little screws, go to Walmart or Canadian Tire, buy yourself a little box of those jeweler screwdrivers. Tiny, tiny little screwdrivers.
Or don't go at all and order them on Amazon.
Yeah, but if you're going for the machine heads, you might as well go stop by the Canadian Tire.
What are you
or
driving
the
them there yourself or what?
I don't know. Just trying to make him have an interesting day. Maybe he wanted to do more than one thing with his life.
Something else in his basket on
Maybe
Amazon.
you need something else in your life to make you happy, because you're obviously not fucking happy. You just don't go get the screwdrivers. Don't do this. The fucking spindle's too high.
Where do you put the quarter into this thing?
I think you need to stop putting quarters.
Yeah.
String theory.
Happy joy.
happy joy. Connects.
Oh, that felt good. I feel all warm now.
It's because you pissed yourself.
Oh, you're suddenly on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Might be literally after the show.
Yeah.
I get a question from Eli Patrick.
I think it was
Eli.
I think it was the coffee cream liqueur.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Took a jolt of.
Cold Stream. Right here. It's like 20 minutes away.
Hey, Eli's talking to you.
Hi, Eli. Love you, buddy.
In terms of tone, what do you look for in a fiddle?
Big. A very deep G and D string. And an E string that sounds thicker than it should be. The A string, unimportant. It's the bottom end. If the bottom end is really thick and good and loud, and the E string doesn't sound tinny and thin, the A will automatically just be good. It's that bottom end you're looking for. That chunky, big, wood, dark, loud bottom end. That's what I've always looked for. And I got that way from listening to American fiddlers, right? Kenny Baker's fiddle. Like, I played Kenny's fiddle, and Enoch Sullivan had one of Kenny's old fiddles. And it was huge. It's just like, whoa. The bottom strings just sound like a cello. And that's what I look for. Always. The weirdest, thinnest sounding fiddle I ever played was Vassar Clements. And it was 300 years old, but it still had a nice bottom end, but it was one of those instruments that was clearly only he could coax the tone out of it. It was very temperamental, and I remember playing it in his hotel room one time at Merlefest, and I was playing Cape Breton tunes on it, and he was just mesmerized. Like, how do you do that? What's that little jig he's putting in the bow? Like, he was trying to get me out. He was almost getting it too. Like, he would have, if he had lived, he probably would have made a Cape Breton fiddle album. But that fiddle, to me, was thin sounding. On record, it's not. It recorded differently than it sounded. So that's another thing, is that violins often sound different over a microphone than they do in the room. So you have to be sort of aware of that. Or if you're playing through a mic on stage, you got to know how it blows up an SM58 or a 50. The 58 is the best thing for violin. Don't use a 57. The 58, because the violin is the most like the human voice of any stringed instrument. So that's what you got to put in front of a fiddle. It's just a regular old 58 vocal mic. Or if you're using the high-tech stuff, the Ear Trumpet Lab and all that shit, that's where you got to go with that, right? But yeah, that's what I look for.
Right on.
A question from Mick B. Dev.
Mick B. Dev?
It's
the wreck of the
so.
Edmund Fitzgerald. What was it? What's his name?
Mick B.
Call me a
Dev?
fat prick? What?
No?
Well, what's wrong with his eyes?
I think you've lost a marble.
Oh, I need some more of this.
There you go.
Okay. Bring it on, boys.
Have you ever had a period of time where you stopped playing, and if so, why?
Oh, that's a neat question.
Never.
After your car accident?
Unless you count, I had to stop playing for 7 days when I had this double surgery on my hands, and that was it. When the cast came off on the 8th day, and there were still 24 stitches in each hand, I pair of fancy leather gloves and cut the fingers out of them, and put a gauze pad over both wounds. They were driving gloves because you could tighten them.
Yeah.
So I tightened them as hard as I could, and then went up to Iona that night and played a full square dance. 4 hours. And boy, I cried the whole time I played.
How about
because my hands worked again, right? Yeah. They were flawless, and I was just like, I can't believe how hard I was struggling for 2 years to play. Once I had that surgery, it was like, and I just cried all night. Adrian O'Coin was with me playing guitar, and Adrian kept looking at me. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Everything's good.
How about when you had the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald at the bottom of the stairs? You
That's
couldn't
all
play
I
for
did.
a couple days.
That's all I did.
You took a couple days off.
I learned adrenaline rush during that.
Oh boy.
You hid in the back room and...
Yeah, ask her. It drove her nuts.
Yeah, here, give me that stuff now, thinking about that.
Come on, man, that's a great tune.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Mm-hmm. Be nice to Gareth. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
He's a good kid.
Not quite there
yet.
Not
really a kid.
Come on now.
Good next. Next topic.
We got a question from Ian Rossiter.
Ian Rossiter, you Newfoundland bastard, you.
Have you ever considered playing professionally?
Yes, I have.
You really got the knack.
I have, but
good one, Ian.
It's my crippling fear of
public
that keeps me from doing it.
Yeah.
I just like to stay in here and play for this fat bastard.
That and the fact that you're not very good.
Yeah, but you're very forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and deaf. Next.
A question from Rob Richardson for Coot.
Oh boy. Here we go.
How do you troubleshoot no sound from a guitar while doing sound?
Doing sound.
Well, you should know all of these answers.
Yeah.
It's only happened to you about 400 times.
Yeah. Walk up on stage with another guitar and hand it to them and plug them in. Take the other one away and troubleshoot it. Yeah.
Right.
It depends on what the player's using for outboard. Are they going through pedals or are they going straight into a DI? Is it a K&K that doesn't have any batteries or any preamps or electronics? Or is it like a system that has a battery-powered preamp? Some of them are even phantom through the... Not so much anymore, but they used to be phantom through the jack. So if you know your player, you know what gear's on stage, it's pretty easy to sort of get an idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sometimes shit happens.
Yeah.
Right? Easiest way I know of is to go up and just pull the jack and see if just proof the line.
Right? Yeah, you could probably do an entire video about all the ways to find a loss of signal.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it all.
Yeah,
right?
Seen it all.
Everything. From dead batteries to bad lines to bad jacks to bad pickups.
And we always run extra lines.
Yeah.
We always proof all our lines.
Yeah.
So when you get somebody that walks up to plug in, and by and large, we use our own cabling for artists on stage.
Right.
Because I insist upon that.
Yeah.
And it's when somebody plugs in and can't get any sound, 98% of the time I can just look at them and go,
is that our cable?
I can just pull it out and go, everything on our end works.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
Got another guitar?
Yeah.
And if they don't, I usually have a backup plan for another guitar.
Yeah.
somebody like
yeah
you or
many
musicians.
times you've
I need a guitar.
There's been a few times when you handed me another guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell you.
Well, and that can be jarring.
Well,
for
back
you.
in those years, like you were carrying a lot more gear than you would now. You don't even do that kind of production hardly anymore.
Yeah.
You would walk in, and the shit's all there, right?
Yeah.
But you got safety guitars like Standfest, and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what a sound man has to do. You got to be sort of prepared for anything, right?
And sometimes you can tell, like maybe it's not totally dead.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's a preamp starting to cack out, or it's a cable going bad. If you can get in your cans sometimes and you can hear what's going on and make changes. But I know it's pretty jarring for you when you walk up and say, "Here, play this one instead." Don't ask why. Just play this one
Yeah,
instead.
just play this.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah. Next.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
But that's how I met Robin Boucher.
Yeah.
Had no guitar that year, and Tony Quinn walked up and said, "Play this."
Yeah.
I didn't even know him. Didn't know Boucher even had him.
Never looked back.
Never looked back.
Yeah.
Super chat from Cajun Queen.
Cajun Queen.
Howdy, howdy.
Thanks so much for Guitar Man. What guitar was used?
On that song, it was a would have been a 2005 Guild Mahogany OM Sunburst tortoiseshell binding. It was probably $1,000 guitar back then, and I kicked myself every day for selling that guitar. It went out on a trade. I should have kept it. It was one of the nicest guitars I've ever played, and it's the only Guild that I've ever owned that I wanted to keep.
Yeah.
The rest, I mean, I've had.
No, I remember that.
Man, I think we played it at Kemp Shore, played it at Standfest. Holy shit, it was good. And that's what that was. Long gone now.
You getting rid of that guitar spawned about 3 at least follow-on guitars that never cut the mustard.
No.
Right?
I was searching for the next road guitar, and everything I bought was just like, well, that's not it.
Yeah.
That's not it. That's not it. I just kept trading out, right?
Yeah.
I was having my problems with Taylor then, because I was a Taylor man, and they changed to the expression systems, in the early 2000s, and I couldn't use them anymore. And I never touched them again until this Expression System 2 came out, which was a lot better than the first. And it was sort of a drift for quite a few years there, trying to figure out what the hell to play. And that was a weird time. I'm thinking about it now, I used Crosby's,
Crosby's?
I was trying to find something, right? I didn't have really a home. And it was well after,
You tried the Esteban?
I had the Esteban, the real wood tone. Yeah. The one that if you got wet, it just turned into a phone book.
Yeah.
It just was, you could just pull the plies apart, look at, here's the Wing Chun number right there. For a good time called.
I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know
No,
either.
he doesn't know.
No.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that all these guitars are made in China or Japan or Korea or
Is that what that was?
some languages I don't understand. Next.
Nor can you simulate.
Nor can I simulate now.
No.
A question from Thomas
I wish I could
Dory.
speak Mandarin.
Thomas
Dory?
Dory.
Let's learn Mandarin.
No.
No.
It's cool.
No.
I don't have time for that.
Carry on.
Too much work.
Thomas Dory.
I
Hi, Thomas.
work with-
Happy Wednesday.
Hi, Thomas.
What would you recommend for a D28 replacement for folks on a budget? Tone is important.
So it just happens, I happen holding a guitar right now
Whoopsie.
that would easily.
But what does it cost?
You know what? I don't know what this guitar costs, but I know it costs less than a Martin.
I don't know if I'd count it as a budget guitar, though.
Like I put that against any Martin anywhere.
But,
Anywhere.
Budget, like $1,000 less.
$1,000 less, not that guitar.
No,
That's going to be a bit more than that.
that is not a budget guitar.
$1,000 or less, you're looking at. What is he replacing again? A 28? A D28?
Yep.
Help me out. What is there
Like-
for $1,000 or less?
Is there any Yamahas at that price point?
Yes. But he might not be happy with a Yamaha because
In that.
Yeah, if you,
range.
like an L16 would be around $1,200, but they're no Martin.
No.
They're more of a Swiss Army knife. They're beautiful guitars,
Yeah.
but they're not like a bluegrass.
You might be
powerhouse.
shooting a tiny bit too low in the price range to replace a D28 for
The other,
$1,000.
well, I
not-
said 1,000.
no.
He just said budget.
Oh, okay.
Shenmue.
Yeah.
Shenmue builds 28s for $1,000 or just over $1,000. $1,200
What about an
bucks.
Alvarez?
A
little pricier.
the bluegrass. There's the BG60.
Yeah.
And but you might not be happy with that because it's mahogany. I'm trying to think rosewood, right?
Yeah.
The Shenmo, you can buy one of those. They make
and that'd be a lot of guitar.
A lot of guitar. You can buy, but if you like mahogany, the BG60 is killer. Like the Bluegrass Alvarez Yeri.
Yeah.
Also, some of their new rosewood laureates are not. They're around $1,000.
Yeah.
They're killer. I got a black one over there, just smoking. And so there's that. Holy crap! I mean, there's a lot of choices, I guess. Really, when you come to think about it. But it all depends on what you're trying to replace. If you really, really want...
You hire a doorman, Jack?
If you really... Poor Jacko. If you really, really want rosewood, those are sort of your choices. The Yamahas, like the FG5, is too expensive. They're a couple $1,000s. And they're mahogany. So, but rosewood, you got Shenmo, you got Alvarez mahogany. You got... I'm missing something. Why do I feel like I'm missing something? You got to look at the list here. Alvarez,
Shenmo, Yamaha.
What about the one that's
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. A lot of the cheap guitars, cheap's the wrong word.
inexpensive?
The most of the inexpensive guitars, they're not using rosewood.
No.
Because you get better tone and volume out of mahogany and maple and all these other things. And so that's what they build out of. And yeah, so... But check around, Shenmo especially. If you're in the United States, there's a shop in Jupiter, Florida, called Wolf Guitars, WOLFE. And they are an authentic, authorized Shenmo dealer. They have every friggin' Shenmo they can get their hands on. There's now a new store in the GTA here in Canada, around Toronto. They also will be carrying like the bottom of the line. Those are the bottom line guitars. The 28 models and even the D45s are only running a couple $1,000. Like, it's just insane, right? These are all solid wood, made entirely by hand by 12 guys in a shop.
Yeah.
And
you might get away with a Yamaha if you found the right store with the right stock.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'll tell you one that you should look for. Is an LL6, what we call a chocolate L16. They make an LL16 Yamaha that's got this weird, it's rosewood, and it's got a weird brown tint top. Beautiful, rich brown top, right? And we call them chocolate 16s. And I'm telling you what, I've seen at least a half a dozen of them in my lifetime, and they're around. You can get them. They are smoking guitars. The last guy that bought one was Jake Lozon.
Okay.
And this guy plays Bouchers, and he played this 16 out in BC, and he loved it so much he bought it and shipped it back to Kingston, where he lived, outside of Kingston, right? Killer. It was $1,200. And I wanted it. I said, I'm buying that. I got to have a chocolate. Nah, I'm buying it. We fought over it. And he bought it and sent it home.
Nice.
So if you can find one of those too, LL16, I think they call it a brown antique burst or something. It's not a burst at all. It's a solid color.
Right.
Beautiful guitars. Beautiful guitars. Next.
A super chat from the Swedish chef.
Swedish.
That's all it says. Yeah.
Cheers.
Thinking about a Boucher BG 41T or 42T. I have their Torrified Maple 161 and it's great. I can imagine the 42T Dread being great, but how does the 41T OM compare?
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen one of the OMs yet. I must have. The 41s, what are the 41s? They're the, well, all I can say is, if it's mahogany, buy it. Because Robin's Torrified mahogany is savage.
Incredible.
Savage.
Yeah.
I had mine out in the road up in Ontario. I did my live concert DVD with it, and it's just...
Smoking.
Yeah, it's the best Boucher I've ever played, I think. I mean, I've got so many Bouchers I love, and But that one, I bought it. I had to buy it. I couldn't let it go home. They took it with them to do some trade shows with. And I said, just make sure nothing happens to it, because when you're done with that, it's coming to me, and I'm going to buy it. So, and I got a good deal on it, but still had to pay for it. But I could not turn it down. Mm-hmm. It was just one of those. It was one of the very first ones he'd done.
In the small body.
No, it was a dreadnought.
Oh, it was
a dreadnought, Torrified mahogany and top.
Okay.
Adirondack Torrified mahogany, like sapele, like beautiful, beautiful mahogany, Torrified. Mm-hmm. One of the first guys to ever do it. He was one of the first people to torrify maple and mahogany. Mm-hmm. Most people won't do it because there's so much chance. There's such a large chance of destroying the wood in the torrefaction process, right? That they won't do it. Same thing with Adirondack, and like he's admitted to me that they do occasionally lose a top or a piece here and there, but it's nothing like before his process, before he invented this process, mm-hmm. right? And it's a proprietary thing. He doesn't tell anybody how they do it, so it's pretty killer. Pretty killer.
Cool.
Good. Next.
Question from Terry B.
Terry B.
Do you prefer mahogany or rosewood as tonewoods?
What's that now?
Do you prefer mahogany or rosewood as tonewoods?
Oh, mahogany every day, all day. I mean, I used to play. You know what? I used to play rosewood guitars because that's all there was. Seriously, mm-hmm. The only thing there was rosewood, or you bought a D18, was mahogany, and then and below that were the really cheap guitars, which back then, 40 years ago, were garbage. So you had a Martin, and you had that. You had mahogany, or you had a Gibson J45 mahogany, or a jumbo maple.
Plyhogany.
So it's just like I only played rosewood all those years because there was nothing else. And when I was able to afford different guitars, and I bought my first D18, I was like, man, this guitar is killer. It's way better than rosewood. It's got more volume. It's brighter. It fits my style better. And to this day, I still love mahogany.
What about your Bubinga?
I love Bubinga.
Right.
And I love rosewood when it's like this. You see what MJ did here? He picked out a beautiful piece of rosewood. This back is just gorgeous, and he did that beautiful satin finish, right?
You said, open pour.
It's open pour, and this guitar is going to age like crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to get
louder
louder
and louder and louder. In a month, and another month, and another month.
Wait till I take this out on the road this summer. Oh man, it's going to kill. But that's the kind of thing I like to see. I'm not a huge fan of the everyday pedestrian rosewood guitar that's everywhere. I mean, Martin started using what's that weird replacement they used when they started running out of rosewood? It's some bizarre. I don't even know if it's real wood. It's some weird thing. I can't think of it. Maybe it is a wood, but it doesn't sound like it's a wood. It sounds like it's a man-made rosewood or something. They started doing fretboards out of it too. And of course, I mean, again, Martin has to do it. They're making 1.2 million guitars a year or some crazy thing, right? So they can't. I mean, how much rosewood do those guys go through? All those companies, man. Holy shit! Surprised there's a friggin' tree left in the planet.
It's about a metric fuck ton of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just surprising there's any forest left anywhere. But they get around it. Next.
Question from Caleb Hawkins.
Caleb Hawkins.
Hey, Caleb.
Are you getting the new Shelby models from Gallagher?
I only saw the Shelby models this morning for the very first time, and I'm waiting for. I still have to. So here's a really bad fuck up. With all the prototypes we built, David and I, when I finally got the finished product, the finished JP Cormier model, I forgot to review it.
You still haven't done that?
No, because I did the Merle. I did there were two prototypes. And when the real one came, it just, I had a brain fart, and it still has to be reviewed. So there's been, and the whole border American thing is causing us a lot of trouble with with companies like that, because they're so far away.
Mm-hmm.
And they all know I love going down there. I was going down to see Gallagher 2 or 3 times a year. And George Crackett, and the boys in Missouri, going out there for the first time. And so that's created a little bit of a barrier between us coming up with really cool ideas, because I'm not there anymore like I was. So I'm going to review that guitar, and very shortly, as soon as I get these recording sessions done, and because it's killer. It's a bird's eye maple OM with, oh my God, it's just killer. So, yeah. What was the question? Oh yeah, the little Gallaghers, right?
The Shelby models.
Yeah. I only saw them this morning.
Oh my God!
I just saw the YouTube video this morning. I watched them reveal all the models, and sorry, man, I'm tired. Now I'm partially drunk. I'm gonna get a little more drunk. Maybe I'll get there. Okay, next.
Super chat, or sorry, a highlighted chat from Mark Smith.
Mark Smith.
Hey,
what a boy. Mark.
He says, Coot, still got to get my Silvertone amp up to you for a once-over.
Yes, sir. Next week, Mark. If you got time next week.
He's coming up next month for more recording.
Yeah.
And JP, how are the string joys holding up for you?
Let's see, what did I put those on?
You were liking them.
Yeah, I was.
Loving them.
Okay.
I actually didn't have any problem with them at all, to be honest.
You had it on whatever guitar was on the rack a couple weeks ago.
I can't remember what I put it on, but I know I played them for quite a while, and they were great.
They're a little mom and pop operation.
Yeah, they're in Nashville.
Yeah.
Private little,
string.
yeah.
You have to try them on stage
They have a
sometime.
proprietary way of
coating them,
winding and coating. They got a weird system down. So yeah, I hope whenever I pick that guitar up again, I'll know which one it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, they performed fine for what little I did with it. It was not enough to kill them.
Nope.
So yeah.
Nice. Cheers, Mark.
Yeah.
Apparently, we need to grease the hinges on that door. The haunted house noises are freaking people out.
Good.
Well,
it's part of our allure.
Yeah, it's part of the charm here. Charge extra for that. Cool.
Oh, Jeff Gallant is here. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah,
who is it?
Jeff Gallant.
Really?
Yeah.
Mr. Gallant.
Mr. Gallant.
Oui.
Any other questions?
Oh yeah.
Bring them on.
Keep coming.
I mean, I might have lied. There's a lot of words. I just got to figure out which ones are questions.
Well, if there's no more super chats, we're going to give you the question.
Hang on, let me check. Wait, let me check. Scrolling. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I think you're good.
So, I'm making notes.
Here it is.
All right.
Number 15.
So the question tonight is, what is the YouTube handle of the guy who took a giant shit on me I described at the Cape Corner? What was his handle? Okay. I don't need the number. There was a number after his name. I don't need that. Just his handle. It was a cool name.
Play the guitar while they think.
No problem.
That wasn't it.
I just happen to have a Cirrus.
Right here.
Right here.
Just one right there?
Wow, that one looks nice.
Yeah, it's got that self-compression like an old
It sounds like a Hershey's Kiss.
guitar.
Yeah, buddy.
MJ Franks, Cirrus Guitars, Michigan. Do it. Buy it. Go now.
It's a beaut.
Get one. And then you'll be happy like me. Any answers over there?
Lots of answers, yeah.
And what are they? What are those potential
Are
answers?
they right answers?
Some of them, I think. So we got Metalhead.
Nope.
Big metal guy.
No.
Steel Boy.
No. Steel Boy.
Old metal guy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Old metal. Not old metal guy.
No, it's not old metal guy.
Yeah.
Not old metal.
Close.
Old metal dude.
Old metal dude.
Yeah.
Who had that one?
Ian Rossiter.
You're in there, buddy. Number 15.
Right on, Ian.
And that's all. So you got in on the back of a total arsehole. I mean,
Whoa.
a guy that was just
Steady.
So when
He's just being a cranky old dude.
yeah, he's like me. So if you win the guitar, you have to
Buy him a six-pack.
buy him a 6-pack.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because old metal dude.
Or an old Bon Jovi CD or something.
Seriously, message me, old metal dude. We're going out drinking.
You think he's watching?
Oh hell yeah!
No.
He watches it all the time.
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, I've been reading through the stuff.
All right.
Yeah, he knows about us.
Well, it's time to curl up in the corner, put the chair for two over by the fireplace,
In this
Bring
rocking
up
chair
the-
for 2 more to curl up in.
and have Musty and Scrotus over there.
Musty and Scrotus.
What was the giraffe's name?
Musty and Scrotus.
Oh, Jerome. Jerome was the giraffe.
Musty and Scrotus.
While we bring up the drawbridge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Musty and Scrotus. I think we should have a little bit of Sean McGuire take us out.
Yeah.
Because he was a raging, flaming old alcoholic Irish bastard who could play like a
Irish bastard.
Yes.
Fiddle player.
Yeah, talking through a hole in his throat, putting underarm deodorant on his fucking shins right before the show.
Potatoes.
Yeah, fiddly potatoes. That's what he's like. Yeah, he once. This is no word of lie. He showed up at a concert at Cape Breton. He walked on the stage for sound check, and he rolled up his pant legs and took a bar of Old Spice and rubbed his fucking legs full of deodorant. And then he played about 4 notes in the fiddle, and he turned around, and farted right into the mic, and he went, and then he left. That was his sound check.
Wow.
Yeah. He was
Sounds like a
absolutely
gem.
over the top
Classy guy.
and crazy, yeah. But one of the greatest fiddlers ever lived. Yeah.
Fiddly potatoes.
I just shit on your mic.
Oh, Steve McIntyre's here. He says hello.
Hey, Stevie.
How you doing, buddy? All right. We'll see you next week if you're lucky.
Maybe.
I'm JP. This is Chris. That's the lovely Ginger. I can't reach her with the hat. I'll throw it at her.